Hello everyone, my name is Adam and I teach English, and in this podcast we're going to discuss and compare you have to, you should, you must, you'd better, and it's time. Let's begin with you have to. We use you have to tell somebody to do something or to give a suggestion. So in the first example we have, that is a good movie. You have to see it. We're not really telling the person that they have to see it, but that it's a suggestion. Paris is beautiful. You have to go there. This is a recommendation, but nothing will happen if you don't go to Paris. You have to invite Carol to the party. Typically, with you have to, there isn't a consequence, but in this case, we can say that inviting Carol would probably be a good idea. Or in other words, we should invite Carol. In the next example, you have to dress nicely. You should dress to impress, but nothing will happen if you don't, literally and figuratively speaking. So this can be a suggestion, or it can also be used to tell someone to do something. In the negative form, it would be, you don't have to do that. You don't have to bring me gifts all the time. But it's nice if you do. And this is just a suggestion. In the question form, it would be, do I have to be nice to everyone? So that covers you have to. Now let's take a look at you should. So what does that mean? Should is used also to make a suggestion that implies it would be a good idea to perform this action. So some examples include, you should spend less time watching TV and more time studying. You should lock the door when you leave the house. You should be courteous to elders. And here's an example of the negative form of you should. You shouldn't knock that hard on the door. And that's a suggestion. And in the question form, should I invite Margaret to the party? But this is merely a question, not a suggestion. Let's now compare you have to with you must. You must is used when there are instructions to follow. You must go to work. This is necessary to survive. You must follow the rules of the road, because we are sharing the road with others. You must use proper grammar during an interview. It shows you care and are respectful. In the negative form, you mustn't chew with your mouth open. And in the question form, it would be, must I always learn lessons the hard way? Now let's take a look at you'd better. Had better is when there will be a problem or a consequence. You may have heard someone say, you better stop doing that, but the correct form is you'd better stop doing that. Some examples are, you'd better pay your bills on time, or there'll be a late fee. You better slow down in the rain because it's slippery. In the negative form, it's you'd better not eat too much chocolate or you'll get an upset stomach. And in the question form, I'd better invite Carol to the party, hadn't I? So had better implies that there will be a problem or a consequence. With it's time, we use this to say that something is long overdue. It should have been done already. So the verb will be in the past tense. For example, it's time you thought of other people instead of only thinking about yourself. It's time the sidewalk was fixed. There is something wrong with it. It should be repaired. Or it should have been repaired. In the question form, isn't it time the government did something about high taxes? So this is the form of it's time, and we use that with the verb in the past tense. And that concludes this podcast. So what I would suggest doing is just going through it one more time and possibly making notes on the differences on how to use these terms. And if you have any questions, or if there are any topics you would like me to review, feel free to leave comments. And remember to subscribe to receive notifications of videos in the future. Thank you, and I hope this helped.